So now it's time to hear from you.
We know when it comes to buying, renting, refinancing, so many of you have a lot of real estate questions.
So we're giving our Metro Residential viewers the mic.
We hit the streets in order to get your question.
And then we'll give you all the answers.
Here's the 411.
In a city like New York, it's hard enough to get around, let alone navigate the ins and outs of the real estate market. Luigi Rosabianca is one of New York City's top real estate attorneys. Really, few attorneys know real estate like Luigi. So when it comes to answering your real estate questions, he's our expert. Hi, Luigi. How are you?
Great, Jeff. How are you?
I'm terrific. I'm very glad to be here, and I'm anxious to hear this week's question.
Looking forward to it.
Okay, here we go.
Hi, my name's Janine Silva from Manhattan. If I put down a large down payment, can the bank give me a lower interest rate?
All right, interesting question, Luigi. Is it possible to get a lower rate by simply putting more money down?
Let's clarify her question.
Okay.
If she's referring to the down payment monies as 25% versus 30%, the answer to her question is no. The interest rate would not change. However, if that additional money takes you from a jumbo loan to a conforming loan, then yes, it definitely will affect the interest rate.
All right, so example, if whatever the down payment was being made was over $729,000, which in New York is the limit of a conforming mortgage today, it's a jumbo no matter how much money you're putting down.
Whether it's 25% down payment,
50%, doesn't matter. If it's over $729,000, you're going to have the same interest rate.
Exactly, precisely.
So again, just putting more money down, if it's still a jumbo mortgage, you're still going to pay a jumbo rate. But if you put enough money down to move it from jumbo to conforming, that's one way you can get a lower interest rate.
Exactly. And at that point, she would qualify for a much better interest rate.
Of course, the more money you put down, the less your monthly payment's going to be.
Exactly. But just to clarify on her question, whether it's a 25% deposit or a 30% deposit, that would not change the interest rate.
Got it. Very good. Good information. Thank you, Luigi.
Thank you, Jeff.
Hi, Luigi. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Jeff.
I'm excited to hear today's question. I think I know what it's about, and it's a really, really good one.
Let's hear it.
Okay, here we go.
My name is Catrice Nash, and I'm from the Bronx, and I'm wondering, should I keep paying rent if my landlord is going into foreclosure?
All right. Really interesting question. So the landlord's in foreclosure. I'm the tenant. Am I supposed to keep writing a rent check to my landlord, Luigi?
Well, Jeff, let's distinguish the two relationships here. The landlord, owner of the property, has an obligation to pay his mortgage. Independent of that is the tenant's obligation to pay his rent, vis-a-vis a month-to-month tenancy or a lease agreement. Okay? The two of them are not connected. So while he may be suffering some financial turmoil with his underlying lender, you always have an obligation to pay your monthly rent.
But I'm concerned that if I keep paying my rent and the bank forecloses on the property, can they kick me out or come after me for the rent that I've already paid to the landlord?
Intuition sometimes is not consistent with the law.
Okay.
So you'd always have the obligation to pay your landlord. And one of these Obama reliefs that were passed last year strictly prevent you being evicted during the duration of foreclosure proceedings.
I see. Okay, so bottom line is, if you're the tenant and you get a foreclosure notice in the mail made out to your landlord, best thing to do is call your landlord, make them aware that you've gotten this information, and reassure them that, you know, you're going to continue to pay the rent as you're supposed to under the terms of your lease.
Absolutely. Sometimes you may even have sophisticated loan agreements where the tenant has an obligation to pay the lender under an assignment of leases and rents. So that obligation is always in place.
Thank you, Luigi.
Thank you.
Hi, Luigi. How are you?
Great, Jeff. How are you?
I'm terrific. It's good to see you, and I'm really curious to see what question we've got this week.
Looking forward to it.
Okay, let's hear it.
My name is Brian Burgess from West Orange, and I was wondering, should I go through a broker to get a home loan?
Okay, interesting and very timely question. Is there an advantage these days, Luigi, to go through a broker to get a mortgage?
Jeff, I've always liked to think the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. And if we're dealing with your typical loan, the cookie cutter type loan, it's probably better going to a larger bank, and we all know who the names are. However, if your circumstances require special needs, whether it's employment verification, whether it's a foreign national visa issue.
Credit issues, perhaps?
It could be a credit issue, any sort of special need. You may want to go to a mortgage broker that can shop the loan for you and may have a greater array of products at his disposal.
Right. I think that that's good advice. And I think that from what I hear anecdotally, today the large institutional banks compete largely on price. So you may get the best, if you're a vanilla, straightforward case, you may get the best deal by going to one of the larger banks. But if you do, as you put it, have special needs, it can be impossible for an individual to find the right place to go. And in that case, a mortgage broker can really make a difference.
It becomes a terrible experience if you don't have the right person to guide you through the process. If your loan or your prospective loan falls outside the box, outside the normal parameters, you really need someone to tend to those special needs.
Does it cost more for somebody to use a broker today?
Not necessarily. You know, it really depends on the individual circumstances. And what's wonderful today, one of the new federally mandated laws is that the banks will give to you a good faith estimate of charges.
Right.
So you know right off the bat what the costs are, what your expenses ultimately will be.
So even if you work with a broker, what you know is at least you're going to know up front what you're getting into.
It's very transparent.
Okay, that's great advice. Thank you, Luigi.
Thank you, Jeff.